Hey everyone, so I told you I'd be back with like a little companion piece about thrillers. I was disappointed with my thriller reads in March. If you want to hear about those, you can watch my last video. Um, but I wanted to talk a little bit about a pattern I've been seeing in thrillers that I don't love, but I also want to give you some thrillers that I do recommend based on what might interest you. So stay tuned and let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about a pattern I've been seeing with thrillers that I'm kind of over. And that is the pattern where the book sets up a female antagonist to the female protagonist. Now, usually the protagonist is kind of vulnerable in some way, maybe underdeveloped. The book doesn't do a great job developing her. And then they create this like better developed antagonist character, but they sort of trick the reader into hating her by giving her every nasty female stereotype imaginable and making you think that she's the villain. You're having some very, very anti feminist thoughts. It's not fun because you're really like hating this character. And then the rug gets pulled out, and you find out that actually she is the victim of abuse and she's at the hands of some psychotic, evil, almost unbelievably evil boyfriend or husband or partner of some way. And she's actually been trying to save the protagonist all along or save herself. I get why this trope exists. I'm just really over it. I can see where it comes from in the age of Me Too. It makes sense that it came from there. Um, I think like books like Gone Girl were kind of the forerunner of that, which is fine and it makes sense and like we liked that for a while. But at this point, I can kind of like see it coming every time, and I feel like it's okay for us to write characters that are complex, that are female, that have, some flaws and things like that, that don't rely on just like nasty stereotypes of like the crazy woman, untrustworthy, lying, like all of these things, possessive, jealous. Um, it's okay if they have these things, but not all of them. And it just kind of, and also the other thing that bothers me is this woman has dealt with abuse usually in some kind of way. And instead of going to the cops or trying to get help, she's like, is hatching a scheme, sometimes involving the protagonist, that's putting her and potentially the protagonist in more danger. So I don't know. I'm not saying I hate it. I just feel like I've read it a lot and it's not always well done and it's frustrating when it's not well done. Does that make sense? So if you like that trope and you want something that does it well, now I've kind of spoiled it for you, but definitely read The Last Mrs. Parrish by Liv Constantine. If you like a thriller that involves somebody like a maid or somebody like from the downstairs that kind of has access to other people's lives that barely even notice her, definitely read The Maid by Nita Prose. That book is just so stinkingly delightful. It really is. If you like the trope of an unreliable woman but you want it written well, I say read Alice Feeney. She's very good at that. Three other books that excel in that department are Mary by Nat Cassidy, um, Counterfeit by Kirsten Chen. That one was really, really good. And The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. That's kind of a classic book talk thriller, and it's good. It really is. If you like a who can I trust in this book kind of trope, or a rocky marriage, or a potentially evil woman, I would say Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. Their books are all really good and pretty fun in that regard. Or Geneva Rose. Now, her books are not going to blow you away with their literariosity, but they are fun. They are really, really good. They're good page turners. They will kind of catch you off guard. And following Geneva Rose on social media is an absolute delight. If you like a backwoods small town murder mystery, I recommend Haley Scrivener, Dirt Creek. That takes place in a very small little town in Australia, and it was really, really good. I would also recommend All Good People Here by Ashley Flowers. If you're a podcast true crime fan, you might know Ashley Flowers from the Crime Junkie podcast. She made that podcast what it is because she's a great storyteller, and that came through in her writing of a novel. It is very, very good, very engaging. It's thought provoking. I think the characters are written well. I was really proud of her for that book. If you want a mystery that's not really a thriller but will leave a part of itself inside your soul, read Mad Honey by Jodi Picoult and Jennifer Finney Boylan. If you like creepy children and gaslit mothers, read Baby Teeth by Zoe Stodge or The Push by Ashley Audrain. If you want a good series, read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. It's a trilogy. That one's excellent. If you want a book that's going to make you say, WTF, did I just read? Read I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. or Mary by Nat Cassidy again, or The Last House on Needless Street by Katrina Ward. Whoa, that one was like a definite WTF did I just read. You like yourself some creepy and ambiguous thriller? Look no further than Mr. Paul Tremblay. If you want kitschy and fun and full of style, read Riley Sager. If you want heart pounding, like Don't Put Down Until You Finish, Adrian McKinty, especially The Island. If you want a thriller that will like rock your soul and make you think about social issues, S.A. Cosby. If you like a cult thriller, Sarah Denzel. If you want a solid locked room mystery, Lucy Foley is your girl. If you want solidly built thrillers with psychological exploration and really, really interesting characters, I would say read Lisa Jewell or Tana French. And finally, if you want a mystery but you really don't like murder and gore and you want to read something where no one is murdered, read Leanne Moriarty. All right, and that's the look, and those are some thrillers, and I hope you've enjoyed this. I'll see you next time.